Okay guys, so today we are going to be learning all about long division. Now long division can be kind of tricky sometimes, but we're going to walk through this step by step and then show you guys how you can do this on your own. So first let's look at our problem. Our problem is going to be 343 divided by 5. Now this first number is going to be what we call the dividend. And our second number here, 5, this is going to be our divisor. This is going to be what we're dividing 343 by. And then here, equal, well, that's what we're going to figure out today. We're going to figure out what that answer is. And once we figure it out, we're going to call that our quotient. Okay, so to start up for a basic long division problem, the first thing we need to do is we need to take our dividend, which is 343, and we're going to put that in our box here, and then we're going to divide it by 5, and that's going to go on the outside. Now the first question we must ask ourselves is, can the number 5 go into the number 3? Well, we know that 5 can't go into 3, so the first thing we're going to do is place a 0 right above the 3. We want to keep it above the place value that we're working with first. We're going to take our 0 then. 0 times 5 is 0. We're going to put that under our 3. Here we're going to subtract. So 3 minus 0 is 3. So now what we're going to do is we're going to drop down our 4. We're going to come down. Our 4 is going to come down. Look, now we have something that 5 can go into. So we're going to ask ourselves, how many times can 5 go into 34? Well, we know that 5 can go into 34 evenly 6 times. So 6 times 5 is 30. But that means that we still have left over. When we subtract, we are still left with 4. 34 minus 30 is 4. The last thing we're going to do is drop down our 3. When we drop down our 3, we have 43. So how many times does 5 go into 43? We know that 5 goes into 43 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. Now when we subtract 43 minus 40, we're left with 3. Now, when we get to this point, we must ask ourselves, we see that there's nothing left to drop down over here, so we can't do that. And we know that 5 can't go into 3. So that means we're ready to stop the problem. So we're left with remainder 3. And then we're going to write that up here as well. So procedure-wise, this is going to be how you do it. We took 5, we divided it by 343, and we got 68 remainder 3. So that's the basis of how you do the problem. But let's dive in closer to this and see what we're actually doing in this problem. Let's see what we're doing behind the numbers. So I'm going to help you understand this by using base 10 blocks. So if we have 343, let's write it over here, nice and big. Now, if we're going to put this in base 10 blocks, we're going to have 300 blocks, that comes from the 3. We're going to have 4 tens because our 4 is in the 10 spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to have 3 ones. 1, 2, 3. So this represents our original 343. That's our dividend. Now, what does our divisor mean? That's our number 5. That is going to be actually the number of groups. So our end product, we want to have 5 groups here. I'm going to put our groups, and then we'll put the values in the groups. In the end, we want to see if we can divide 343 into 5 equal groups. So we have our 5 groups here. The first thing we need to look at is what we did here. Is we were trying to see if 300s can fit evenly into 5. But it can't, because we can't put 3 of these into 5 boxes. So what we have to do is we have to move down a place value and regroup. which is what we did right over here. We said that 5 couldn't be split into 3 groups, so we dropped down the 4 and made those into 34 tens. So we're going to split each of these 100 blocks into 10 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now let's look. That leaves us with 34 tens. Well, look over here. We have 34 tens here. So let's take a look. How many times can 34 tens be split up equally in 5 groups? Remember, these groups all have to be equal. They all have to have the same amount. So, looking over here, we said that 6 tens can fit into each box. So that's what we're going to do down here. 6 tens can evenly fit in all of these. Okay, so when we do that, we have to cross off the ones we use up here. Okay, now that leaves us with 4 tens that we couldn't split evenly between groups. So what did we do? We brought down our 3 so that we would have 43 ones. We took those tens and we split them into ones. So that's what we're going to have to do here again. These 4 tens we're going to have to split into 10 ones. So for each one of these, we're going to do 10 ones. Okay, so when we did that, we are left with 40 ones here, but we have our 3 ones that we had up here. And that is shown right here, our 43 ones. So now, let's see how many times can 5 go into 43 ones? And we said 8 times. Right here is our 8 in our ones category. So 8 ones can be split up into 5 groups evenly. So we're going to take our 8 ones. Okay, and after we split that up, that means we used up all of these, we are only left with these 3 ones. That's all we have left. But those 3 ones can't evenly be split up into those boxes, right? So we are left with remainder 3. But now let's go back and see what our amount is in each group. We have 6 tens in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 60, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ones in each group. So that's 68. And look, it matches right up here with our 68 we divided by. We can't forget about our remainder up here, though, that couldn't be easily divided. So we've got remainder 3. Now, since we have our 5 groups down here, we can see that 5 groups times 68 in each group, plus our remainder 3, is going to equal 343. And that is how we do long division. I hope that helps, guys.